Let us discuss the topics in Unit 5, an introduction to environmental science in ancient India, Indian philosophy and its vision of environment, and Vedic approach to the environment. Through this course, we shall get to understand the foundations of environmental thought in ancient India. It helps us to understand the role of Indian philosophy in shaping environmental vision. Also, we can study the Vedic approach to ecosystem and environmental ethics. It helps us to explore the cultural and religious practice of treating natural forces as divine entities. And also, we'll understand how fundamental elements such as Prithvi, Apa, Vayu, Akash, and Manas contribute to the ecological balance and form the foundation of Indian cosmology. Therefore, this course will help us to understand the environmental science in ancient India, Indian philosophy and its vision of environment, Vedic approach to the environment, and deification of nature. Concern for the mother nature has been an integral part of the Indian intellectual and popular traditions. This sensibility is apparent in the cultural patterns, religious practices, and social norms. The wisdom is embodied in both popular as well as classical traditions that emphasizes the preservation and conservation of the environment. Paryavaranam is a Sanskrit word for the environment that was prevalent in ancient India thousands of years before the advent of modern science. For the ancient Indians, the universe was the integral whole and all natural phenomena had a divine origin. The ancient Indians learned to be in symphony with their environmental surroundings right from their formative years. Concern for the environment and its need for protection is reflected in religious practices in the form of different animals and plants which are often worshipped at different times so as to ensure their survival. The Indian textual tradition also helps us to understand the rest of the material world. Man is also made up of elements which at death will disintegrate and dissolve into nature. At the most general levels, there are 9 tattvas or elements: earth, water, fire, sky, time, directions, mind, and soil. Let us discuss the concepts from Indian mythology that can be associated with environmental protection and pollution control. Number one is dharma or righteous duty. Dharma is a foundation principle in Indian mythology which includes the righteous living and the fulfillment of one's duties. This also includes responsibilities towards environment that focuses the need for ethical and sustainable practices. Dharma is also the responsible use of resources, conservation, and avoidance of any kind of actions that harms the natural world. Next is ahimsa or non-violence. This is a much familiar concept even inculcated in today's world. Ahimsa is a principle of non-violence or non-harming, and it extends beyond human interactions to include all living beings and nature itself. Practicing ahimsa involves avoiding activities that cause harm to the ecosystems, animals, and plant life, and also which include a vegetarian or plant-based diet to maximize harm to animals and reducing ecological footprints. Respect for the elements and the deities. Elements such as fire, water, earth, air, and various deities are revered in Indian mythology. They are considered divine manifestations and are treated with respect. And this can be translated into a responsible usage of natural resources to avoid pollution of water bodies and to practice sustainable agriculture and land use practices. Rivers like Ganga and Yamuna hold immense significance in Indian mythology. They are considered sacred and rituals often involve bathing in these rivers. This reverence for rivers emphasizes the importance of water conservation and cleanliness, and efforts to protect and preserve these sacred water bodies align with the principles of pollution control. Tree worship is often seen as a practice of conserving trees, especially the banyan people and neem tree, which are revered in Indian mythology. And they are often associated with deities, and tree worship has become a common practice, a practice which ensures protecting and planting trees becomes a sacred duty that can contribute to the environmental conservation and promoting ecological balance. Next is another important concept in the Indian mythology which stresses on the importance of protection of the environment. The Vedic cosmology and harmony, which recognizes the interdependence of all existence and visualizing the universe as a harmonious whole with every element playing a vital role. And practicing environmental harmony involves understanding and respecting the communion of ecosystems. People have realized the consequences of their actions on the environment. Karma, the law of cause and effect, is a fundamental principle which people in the ancient time has realized and followed. They believed to have consequences affecting individuals and world around them. So they felt the need to recognize the environmental consequences of human actions that will actually encourage a responsible behavior and adopt sustainable practices to avoid negative impacts. Detoxification and purity, also known as Panchakarma, which is a very familiar word in the present day Ayurvedic treatments. Panchakarma is a purification process in Ayurveda which involves detoxifying the body. The concept of purification is also extended to the environment, and they have realized in implementing eco-friendly practices to reduce pollution and support initiatives for environmental detoxification that align with this particular principle. Observing vratas and fasting is also a practice that was followed in ancient India as a step towards environmental awareness. And through these practices, it was ensured that certain mindful eating and consumption would help reduce pollution or environmental impact. This practice, called as Bhuta Yagna or offering to nature, is practiced even today, and it symbolizes the sustainable living conservation efforts to promote biodiversity. Now we will discuss on Indian philosophy and its vision of environment. Indian philosophy encompasses a rich, diverse tradition of philosophical thought that has developed over thousands of years in the Indian subcontinent. There are various perspectives and schools of thought that have articulated an environmental vision which is deeply rooted in our Indian culture, spiritual, and ethical traditions. Let us see the key aspects of Indian philosophy and its environmental vision. Number one is interconnectedness and unity. Indian philosophy emphasizes the interconnectedness of living beings and the unity of the cosmos. It helps us to recognize that humans are an integral part of nature, which advocates for harmonious existence with the environment. This concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, captures this ethos which highlights the interconnectedness and shared destiny of all living beings. Next is the non-dualistic approach, which emphasizes that the human are an integral part of nature and we cannot divide or separate the human and nature, that affirms their inherent unity and that encourages ecological responsibility and reverence for all forms of life. Respect for all life. Indian philosophical traditions, particularly Jainism and Buddhism, advocate for ahimsa or non-violence and to be compassionate towards all living beings. These principles extend even to the natural world, which help to promote a reverence for plants, animals, and the environment. The Indian philosophy has also encouraged environmental ethics. They have offered ethical frameworks that helps to guide human behavior towards the environment. The principle of dharma found in Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism promotes moral duties and responsibilities towards the natural world. It helps us to focus the need for responsible stewardship and sustainable resource use to preserve the ecology and ecosystem. Being harmony with nature and with oneself is one of the greatest Indian philosophical traditions that man has emphasized since ancient times. Practices such as yoga, meditation helps to foster an individual's connection with nature and also will help to cultivate an awareness of interplay between microcosm and macrocosm. This holistic approach encourages humans to align their actions with the rhythms and harmony of the natural world. Ancient Indian philosophy recognizes the sacredness and divine presence in nature and perceives nature as a manifestation of the divine, and all the ecological elements are revered as an embodiment of divinity. And it also engenders a sense of awe, reverence, and responsibility towards the environment that encourages a mindful and sustainable relationship with nature. So, understanding the Indian philosophy and its vision on the environment and its sensitivity towards environmental protection helps us to understand that Indian philosophy has offered a unique perspective on the humanity's relationship with the natural world. It emphasizes interconnectedness, non dualism, ethical responsibility, and spiritual harmony with nature, and integrating these philosophical insights into contemporary environmental discourse can help provide a holistic framework for addressing ecological challenges, fostering sustainable practices, and helps to cultivate a deep sense of respect and care for the environment.